What's happening, my friends? Got the Carseats Coffee hat on. I'd love for you to get one, but you got to be on the podcast first. Anyway, check that out. See that little three back there? No, kind of all over that little three. And my little guy, my youngest one, just turned 3 this month, which is awesome. Actually, it's not. 3-year-olds are kind of dicks. I still love him to death, but man, they are wild. They're like the worst relationship you've ever had times 10, but you can't get away from it. You can't be like, I'm done because it's your child. Anyway, this is a new portion of Car Seats and Coffee that I'm actually starting to record the podcast episodes and give them to you in that form. And by doing that, I just hope it gives you more opportunities to connect with me, to connect with the other dads, and ultimately connect with some portion of yourself that needs to be tapped into. So the episode I'm about to jump into is about conditional versus unconditional love. What kind of love do you have for your child? Is the love you have for them, is it something that they have to earn, or is it something that you just have for them always, no matter what? And it really helps you get through a lot of stuff. And I'll talk about what kind I have and what kind that I hope to have. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I hope that you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the new series. And yeah, without any further ado, let's just jump into it. I'm talking about kids. I'm talking about being a dad. I'm talking about making it happen. Let's hit the record button here and jump on in. All right, fathers, mothers, parental units. What we're talking about is conditional versus unconditional love. It's a big thing right now. And the reason it really struck with me is with my boys, I believe I have unconditional love for them. But sometimes I feel like it's also love that needs to be earned. So it really then would be based off of conditions, which is ridiculous. And I want to grow and become the father that just has that unconditional love. See, this is live. Things happen. You're gonna have to edit that part out. But let's continue. So the thought of that, of my children having to earn my love, is ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous. I think a lot of fathers out there are like that. And it's not in the sense of, if you don't play on this football team, I'm not going to love you, or, if you're not always perfect, I'm not going to love you, or you need to become the version of me that I want you to be, if that makes sense. That's not really the conditions or the conditional love that I'm talking about. The conditional love that I think I have inside, and I'm sure I'm not alone, at times is, it's more on my terms of the relationship. That sounds really weird. So the condition of it is based on you being the part of my life, not just the fact that you were born. So you being my child, me being your father, us playing this universal role to one another are the conditions that create that love. And I really want to transition that into this state of just unconditional love, which I do have also. And I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but when I say I do have that also, I'm referring to the fact of I'm going to love my boys no matter what. I don't care about what religious beliefs they have. I don't care about their sexual orientation. I don't care about what career they get. Obviously you want them just to be happy, and that's one thing I do care about. I care about that they're kind people, and that they're loving people, and that they're happy. And that's in whatever terms their happiness is. Now, jumping back into this that statement of unconditional love, I believe I do have those. Like I truly in my core believe that I'm going to love them no matter what those situations are or what happens. And ultimately, no matter what they do, I constantly tell my boys, I love you, and I'm not getting upset or the reason I'm getting upset isn't you, it's an action that you had. So it's a byproduct of a choice that they made. But at their core, and at my core, I will always love them no matter what. I might not love their action or their choice, but I'm going to love them. So that's kind of where we're at with just the unconditional versus conditional. I know there's so many variables that play into this. You know, one of the big things is you have to ask yourself, I think, not just as a father, as a mother, as just a parent in general, is am I treating my child in a way that they're going to understand my unconditional love? Or does my child perceive me and my parenting as it is conditional. It's contingent upon them behaving a certain way or acting a certain way or following a certain belief system that I hold for them, which is, I know I'm going to upset some people right now, and that's okay. This is my podcast. Eat shit if you don't like it. No, just joking. This is my podcast, and what I want to be is truthful to y'all. I personally believe it's ridiculous that if your child doesn't hold the same belief systems, i.e. religion, political, sexual orientation, there's tons of things, right? Even down to where they live or what friends. It's their choice, ultimately. Hopefully we've guided them in a way that aligns with them becoming a good person. But as far as one of those elements determining their outcome of being, quote unquote, in your eyes, a good person is ridiculous, because we've all been there probably as parents. We've had parents that have tried to control us or shape us or turn us into many versions of themselves, which ultimately I think is an injustice, because what you're doing is stating that my belief is right and you don't really need to go out into the world and figure out your own beliefs. That's important. That personal growth, that personal development is really critical. I'm just going off on a rant here, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I've felt personally some of those things, especially when it's been involved with religious beliefs or strong political beliefs. My father and I have some similar political beliefs, but we have very different things. And I think that's okay. And I hope my kids have the same thing, because I don't want them just to believe what I believe. I want them to go out into the world and find out what they believe. And we can all do that in a way that we still respect each other. And now it's getting deep, and I'm bringing it back. I'm gonna bring it back, people. I promise. That's getting a little deep there. Yeah. So let's jump back to the conditional versus unconditional love for your children. I think our goal, our major aim, if you will, the win of fathers and mothers, is really, can we get to a point where we have unconditional love? And I think the biggest question there is, are you able to love yourself enough that you'll be able to then have unconditional love for your child? It sounds weird, but stop and think about that. Because if you don't truly have love with yourself, you have maybe some baggage or some deep-rooted anger or past thing that happened to you that you feel inadequate in certain areas. How are you going to be able to get past that when your children have a similar situation or are encountering something similar? You're then going to project your own viewpoints, your own anger, or whatever emotion that is upon them. And then it's probably going to stick with them and create a similar pattern. It's all about breaking the pattern, right? If you didn't have parents that had unconditional love for you and you felt they only loved you if you followed the way that they wanted you to be, then it's going to be really hard for you to break that and say, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to love my child, period. Let me repeat that. I'm just going to love my child, period. No matter what, period, right? And we're just going to go on this journey together, and I'm excited. That's the thing too. Got to have that excitement to see them become their own person, because they are their own person. I know that we have a lot of control, especially when they're young, and guidance. But at the end of the day, eventually, if you've done your job right, those little children are going to grow up and leave the nest, and you hope that they can do that with their own confidence, their own self-love and worth, to be able to thrive and be the best versions of themselves. That would be the win for me. It might not be the win for you. Again, this is my podcast, bitch. No, just joking. No, I'm gonna edit all that out. Probably gonna edit that out of the video too. At the end, it comes down to that simple principle. So where I'm going with this, and I know I've kind of been on a rant on some things, but when you really break it down, at the end of the day, love is the most powerful energy, most powerful source out there. When you feel loved, you feel invincible. When you feel loved, you feel capable. When you feel loved, you feel like you just can do. And isn't that the ultimate gift that you could give to your child? Making your child feel like they can do. Because no matter how cruel the world could be to them, their core, that's it, their core. Family's a unit, it's a core. Their core loves them. And hopefully through that, they just love themselves. And then they'll win. And that's it. Anyway, as always, I appreciate every single one of you tuning in and listening. Without you, this podcast would be just me talking to myself. And as much as I love doing that, I really love talking to y'all. I mean, I primarily talk to fathers on here and talk about fatherhood and being dads. But listen, you moms are doing the exact same thing. Probably better. But we're working on it. And that's what this is all about, trying to get dads to understand that we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be these alpha males to be the dad our children need us to be. And if you are an alpha male, that's a good thing too. Embrace it. It's all about embracing the person that you are, but not forcing your child to be that person. So anyway, keep tuning in. Love you all. Thank you. This is Carseats and Coffee. Peace.